One other thing I can do before I put this back in the tractor is the shaft seal that goes right in this area. I've already looked at it a little bit. It looks to me like it was the one that came with the tractor, or I know for sure that that hasn't been changed in 50 years because I've known the tractor well over that length of time, and I know that it was never done by myself, and I don't know that my grandfather ever did either. So we've kind of got this pre-loosened a little bit. We'll take it off and take a quick look at it. So as we take this seal retainer, I guess I'd call it, off the tractor, and one thing that is important to know is, so I bought some new gaskets for it and a couple of seals, but also if you look at this closely, you'll see that there's a steel shim right here, and that shim, this part actually is used to set the end play on this shaft. Like right now, this shaft will move all over the place, but when you put it in the tractor, the front end of it's trapped in that tapered roller bearing that fits into the tractor, and the other end of it is going to be trapped by this part here, and you adjust the end play by adjusting the number of steel shims and paper shims that are on there, to where you're supposed to get, I think, 4/1000 of end play in this when it's all said and done. Now, you won't be able to do that final work until it's in the tractor, but for now at least we can get the seal changed. Well, I think when I ordered parts I was lucky and I guessed right. Here's the steel shim that was on there, and like it was right there. There was also a paper gasket on both sides of that shim as well. There's one that was fairly complete and the other one came out in pieces. So I'm fortunate that I did order 2 of those paper gaskets from Steiner. I also ordered 2 of these seals. So I've got 2 seals. When I look at this, I'm not sure if that's 2 seals back to back or front to back that's in there. I'm not exactly sure. It's just exactly what I've got. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this or not. It's not easy to see. But I'm going to try to get those seals out of there, or at least the one seal. Probably going to take a screwdriver and a hammer and just try to tap it out like that. So I'll let you know how that goes. Well, I'll tell you what, getting that old seal out of right there, it was one heck of a struggle. And I used cold chisels, pry bars, screwdrivers, all kinds of stuff. Eventually ended up taking a tool and die grinder and kind of cutting away some of that edge. I think that's probably the original seal that was in there, probably 69 years old. Steiner, if you watch their series on PTOs for the 2-cylinder tractor, sells you this seal, and compared to width-wise, you can see that this one's about twice as much. What Steiner recommends is taking these 2 seals and putting them back to back, so this open edge would go, the first one would go in here like that. I found a 1.5-inch socket that I think I'm going to try to use as a driver to push that first seal into position. And I'm fortunate because when you flip it over, that seal kind of fits right on that socket, and it should work well to push the second one into place too. So I think I'm going to try a vise to do that. I wish I had an arbor press, I just haven't bought one yet. So I've got this all set up in there, and it's just a question of squeezing that into position now. I hope it's going to go. It's going to be a really tight fit. I checked these out with my dial caliper, and I think the diameter of this is a couple thousandths bigger than the casting, so it's going to be somewhat of a interference fit a little bit. I took a little bit of grease and greased up the red edge of the seal that's in there, and I greased up the cast iron part where it goes in. So now it's just a question of turning this handle and seeing if it goes in there like we hope that it will. I think it's working great. I think it's home already. So you can see it looks like the some of the red on the edge of that seal kind of rubbed off when it went into position, and so I've got one seal pushed all the way in. Now Steiner recommends, and I think it's a good idea really, that we don't put this one in back to back. We're going to flip this one the other way and press it into position. So I'll get it lubed up and probably do the same thing. So there we have it. Maybe hard to see, but we got two seals pushed in there, kind of back to back. I'll go ahead and loose fit this up to the clutch housing. Save those parts. That steel shim. You can't really finish the installation on that until this part's back in the tractor, because we've got to figure out how many shims and how many of those paper gaskets we need so that we eliminate the end play on that. So that about wraps it up for this job until springtime sometime. Right now here in Iowa, we've got a lot of snow. So this is a good job for the winter. We're not going to be using that John Deere till in the spring anyway. So it might be April or May before we finish this series up. But anyway, hope this was helpful to some of you.